We begin hour number 4 on this Thursday. This is three-man front on Jocks. Pat Landrum, Molly, Conrad, with you until 2 o'clock. Appreciate everybody tuning us in. We had a great program so far. Hopefully the last hour will not fall off like Brian Kelly's career did in Baton Rouge. I was just reading that the SEC athletic directors had an in-person meeting in Birmingham yesterday, and guess which athletic director was not in the confines of downtown?
Scott Woodward.
You got it. Think he's already punted? Or you think he was so devastated by the governor calling him out that he was at his house crying and just didn't want to leave?
I know they'll get somebody that's at least decent that'll want that job, but does that give you the warm and fuzzies if you're a sitting AD somewhere and you're kind of comfortable?
And you got the governor going cray-cray on you?
Well,
no, probably not.
You got Landry calling you going, hey, I'm going to talk to you about this job. I don't know. My governor leaves me alone. Thank you, Governor.
In this article I was reading, it says Louisiana's governance structure gives a wide array of autonomy to the governor on matters of the state's flagship school. As one person quipped, he can fire anyone on campus. He doesn't like the contemporary moral issues teacher in the psych department, so we're going to show him the door.
I was going to say, where was he when Will Wade was still there, but he was not there.
Landry wanted them to rehire Wade.
Oh, he did?
He did.
Was he there,
and
though?
Scott Woodward did not want to do that.
Okay. Well, that's the first time, at least, those guys got crossways.
And Landry did not go to LSU, by the way. He went to Southwest Louisiana, which is now the University of Louisiana. And he went to law school in New Orleans, not at Tulane, but another school.
Did he go to the law school that's next to Tulane?
Perhaps. But yeah, he is not an LSU guy. And LSU is about to hire as president the president of McNeese.
That is a fun coincidence,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wade.
Would have been Loyola, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
Well, that makes sense.
I just hope this continues. I find it entertaining. Now, if I'm an LSU fan, I'm pulling my hair out. But from the outside looking in, very entertaining.
Well, speaking of entertaining, each and every week I give the guys and gals 5 games against the spread, against the totals. They give me their picks. This is Bet It or Forget It.
The following is for entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised.
Three-man fronts. Bet it or forget it.
All right, it was a rough week last week for Landrum, the leader in the clubhouse overall on the season. He went 1-4. Molly, last year's champion, she went 3-2. She is now tied with Conrad for second place. So Landrum is 28-22 against the spread. Conrad and Molly 26-24, 2 games above 500. So we're going to go outside the Southeastern Conference for game number 1. As the Indiana Hoosiers, they're on the road taking on the Maryland Terrapins. Indiana is a 21.5-point favorite. Point total is 50.5. Indiana has topped 40 points in 9 of its last 14 games, ranking second in the country in that category. Indiana, meanwhile, they're 5-3 when betting the over this year. The Terps, though, got a really good defense. It'll surprise you. But they are 9th in America in sacks. So let's start with the leader, Landrum. You going to bet it or forget it?
I am going to bet it, and it's very tempting to take Indiana because I've faded them a couple of times with those enormous point spreads, and they just keep on covering, it seems like. What you just said about the over, though, that's where I'm going. I think that Maryland's going to be able to get some points at home. Not comfortable with the 21.5. I'll go over, and that total is 50.5.
That is correct, 50.5.
Over for me.
All right, how about you, Conrad?
Ooh, I feel like the transitive property might get me on this one, but the last opponent for both of these teams was UCLA. Maryland lost to UCLA by 3. Indiana beat them by 50. So, again, feels like the transitive property is going to bite me in the butt on this one, but it's hard for me not to take Indiana and the points outside of, I'll give credit to Iowa. I think Iowa's defensively pretty good, and Oregon. They've demolished teams in the Big Ten this year. So, yeah, Indiana minus the points. Don't make me regret it.
I'm with Landry on this one. I like the over because Indiana likes to score. And I know you can't do this. Like, you can't compare last year to this year. But if this game is anything like it was last year, Indiana beat Maryland 42-28. There's a lot of points scored on both sides. And yes, Indiana is a better team this year. Maryland does have a better defense. But with it only being 50.5, I think this is easily going to hit the over.
But Mike Loxley is a top 5 best-looking college football coaches due to
That's exactly
some
right.
analytics thing. By the way, Phil Longo is on that list as well. Go ahead, Pat.
Game number 2. Let's go to Austin, Texas, where the Vanderbilt Commodores playing another top-ranked team. This time it's Texas on the road in Austin. Texas a 1.5-point favorite. 44.5, that's the point total. The Doors have the nation's 31st rated defense. Pretty good, pretty salty. Vanderbilt, meanwhile, they're 6-2 against the spread with an average cover margin of 10 points per game. Texas, meanwhile, 2-6 against the spread. So let's start with Molly. You gonna bet it or forget it?
Of course I'm going to bet it. And I'm actually going to stay away from the spread. I'm going to take the under in this game. I see like a 20-17, 24-20, which the total is 44.5, so that's barely hitting the under. But I do think that this game will be extremely close. I have so many questions with Texas, especially with Arch and him being in concussion protocol. So that's why I like the under here.
Conrad.
Yeah, just like last week, look, the game was messier than I expected it to be with Missouri, and it was a pretty good defensive battle for most of it. But I felt really good about Vanderbilt's chances going into that one, knowing what was on the line for them, and I'll carry that over to this week. I think Vanderbilt's a better team than Texas. I think the questions about Arch Manning are certainly there, and you know, while you do have to give Texas some credit for what they did last week, I think a lot of that is Mississippi State not knowing how to win big games right now, more so than it was Texas being incredible. So I'm going Vanderbilt. I think they pull up the outright win, so give me them in the points.
Landrum.
I like Vanderbilt as well on the road. I'm going to ride with them until they prove me wrong. But I like what Molly said about that total. 44.5. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go under the 44.5.
Next game, University of Georgia and Florida. They renew their friendly rivalry in Jacksonville. Georgia is a 7.5-point favorite. Point total is 50.5. The Dogs have won let me start over. The Dogs winning 4 of the last 5 against the Gators by at least 14 points. Georgia is 6-14 though against the spread in their last 20. The total has gone over in 14 of Florida's last 19 games in SEC play. So let's start with you, Conrad. Georgia's 7.5-point favorite, 50.5 the point total.
Oh man, this one's tough. If it was 6.5, I would be all over Georgia because I do think they win the game. But Mike Griffith not particularly confident about this one when we talked to him on Tuesday. I'm going to stick with the under in this one. Again, I think Florida defensively has been pretty sharp. I think Georgia's getting better offensively as well. But this just feels like one of those rivalry games where maybe Georgia doesn't look great for part of the game, and it's just kind of a sluggish back and forth battle. So I think Georgia's going to win the game, but I'll go under the 50.5.
Landrum.
I like what Conrad just said there. I see this being the defenses, they show up, and the offenses, one is just a little bit better than the other, and that being Gunnar Stockton with late game heroics like we saw in Knoxville, Tennessee. I like the Dogs in the game, but I'm going to go with Conrad here. I like the under 50.5.
Molly.
I actually like Georgia in the points here because this is, the Gators, they are without Billy Napier as of October 19th or 20th. And Georgia, they're still in the race for the SEC championship game. And, they've allowed just 12 points per game against unranked SEC opponents. And Florida is 0-3 against the spread when they're an underdog of 5 points or more. So I think Georgia, they're going to come out here and they're going to win pretty big.
Pretty big. Do you think it goes under the total, though?
Sure. I just like Georgia in the points.
Okay.
Game number 4, South Carolina is at Ole Miss. Rebels 12.5-point favorite, 54.5 is the point total. If you weren't paying attention, South Carolina, they rank 129th in total offense. The Rebs are 10th in American total offense. Gamecocks, though, are 13-7 against the spread in their last 20 games. Ole Miss has gone over the total in 5 of their last 7 games against South Carolina. Let's start with Landrum. You going to bet it or forget it?
Man, I'm going to bet it reluctantly because I would stay away from this game if I was actually betting real money. It just feels like this is the perfect spot for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss to come home and lay an egg after an emotional road win and getting over the hump. But there's part of me that says, no, this Ole Miss team, they've actually got it together. And they're going to come out and they're going to handle business like they did against South Carolina last year. But Shane Beamer, man, he is a desperate coach right now. And I feel like he's going to get one more really good effort out of his team. I'll go under 54.5.
Conrad.
Don't like
I
it.
thought a lot of the same things that you did when you were going through this. I'm going to go with this, though. This is my thought on the game. Ole Miss, yes, you're coming off a big win on the road, but you're back at home. It's a night game that Lane Kiffin complains because he never gets a night game, and now he's getting one of those. You had your kind of stinker sleeper performance against Washington State, and you escaped with that one. I really think things are going to get bad for South Carolina here. I know they've already been bad, but it feels like to have that game as close as it was against Alabama last week and to still find a way to lose that game, that's something that crushes the soul of a team. And I think for South Carolina, they're about to fall off a cliff potentially the rest of the way. So give me Ole Miss. I think they win this one kind of like last year in a massive blowout.
Molly.
Conrad, I like that pick because I also like Ole Miss in the points. Obviously, you look at last week, but there were a lot of factors in that game. Alabama coming off 4 back-to-back ranked wins. South Carolina, big game at home. Shane Beamer is really good in those spots. We know historically Kalen DeBoer at Alabama is not. But I think this is kind of the flip side of that. I think this is not looking very favorable for Shane Beamer, especially coming off of an emotional loss like that to Alabama. So I like Ole Miss in the points.
Final game of the week. Let's go to the Plains of Auburn. Kentucky against the Tigers. Tigers 10.5-point favorite. 45.5 is the point total. 10 straight SEC losses for Kentucky. The Wildcats have been held below 15 points in 3 of their last 4 outings and 6 of their last 9. Just not very good offensively. The total has gone under in 6 of Auburn's last 7 games. Point total again is 45.5. Auburn is a 10.5-point favorite. Let's start with Landrum.
Freeze warning in Lee County. Oh, what the heck. Win one for Hugh. Let's go Auburn minus the 10.5.
Conrad.
Man, I really wanted to do that as well. It just feels like if there's going to be a game, this is going to be it for Auburn and Hugh Freeze, where they finally show you something. However, this is my favorite stat for Auburn this week, and it's a good stat about Auburn. In 7 of their 8 games this year, they have held their opponents to 10 points or more below their scoring average on the season. Kentucky averages 24 points a game. That means they're going to be about 14. So all Auburn would need to do, score 20, 24, something like that. You're going to be comfortable. So I like the under. I think Auburn does win the game, but I'm going to take the under 45.5.
I'm going to throw out one other thing, or a couple other things that I did not mention when I announced the game.
Mm-hmm.
Under Hugh Freeze, when Auburn is on the SEC network, they are 7-3.
Oh, that's a great stat right there.
But you know what Auburn's record is when Auburn is trailing at halftime under Hugh Freeze?
1 and something.
2-11.
2 and
The
11.
the most fascinating thing about the stat you just read is that Auburn has only played 10 games on the SEC network in his tenure.
You thought it'd be more?
Yeah.
Seven
Oh yeah,
and three.
Auburn's got a game. 8:45 kick on the network.
7-3 on the SEC network. And the game will be on the SEC network
I like it.
tomorrow night or Saturday night.
Who wants to call 2 games on Saturday? We just found an extra one.
All right, Molly, who you picking?
Oh, what is a game, or what is a better to forget it without me taking the under at least like every game? I also like the under in this game. This is the hot seat bowl, and this is kind of, in my opinion, desperation mode for both of these coaches.
Hot seat bowl.
And I really like those. I was going to take the under regardless, but that stat that Conrad just read out even proves the under even more for me. So I like the under.
All right, there you have it. Good luck. Hopefully no one will embarrass the show, go 1-4 like Landrum did last week. Good luck.
It's okay.
You
we've all
still
been there.
grinning when you winning. Woo!
Hey, you were close last week.
I was close. Really close.
Those
Actually, I
4 losses.
wasn't.
Those 4 losses were so close.
They were not close.
Don't you find it interesting how he went 1-4, and that's Hugh Freeze's record this year in the Southeastern Conference?
That is
1-4.
weird.
Ooh.
That is your stat of the day.
There you go.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Spray paint that on the wall. All
Too
right.
bad you can't go 1 and 5 this week, Landrum.
I know it. I'm going to try to go 0-5.
All right. This is 3-man front on Jogs. Coming up later this hour, we'll do some Pat Ponders. But as the weather turns, now's the time to get your mowers and tractors serviced for the end of the season, and Artec Tractor is the place to do it. They're your certified Mahindra servicing dealer, and just in time for the hunting season, their hunter's package includes a Mahindra 1635 with loader, trailer, bush hog, tiller, and spreader, all for $0 down and just $450 per month. Artec has a full line of tractors as well as heavy construction equipment for those big jobs just north of Jasper on Highway 5 or online at artectractor.com. So some news came out yesterday, pretty interesting to say the very least. I was unaware that there was a problem brewing between the Rose Bowl and UCLA. We've all seen the pictures during certain Saturdays in which, my goodness gracious, it looks cavernous. It looks like nobody is there at the games at the Rose Bowl. And keep in mind, UCLA's product has not been very good whatsoever over the last couple of years. So a story broke yesterday that the city of Pasadena and the Rose Bowl, they have filed a lawsuit against UCLA and the University of California Regents in a Los Angeles Superior Court. The suit seeks to force UCLA to honor its lease through 2044 and continue playing football games at the Rose Bowl. The complaint alleges UCLA plans to move home games to SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Pasadena claims taxpayers have invested $150 million in Rose Bowl renovations and refinanced $130 million in bonds for further improvements. The city of Pasadena says UCLA gave public assurances of staying at the Rose Bowl, but has now formally indicated its plans to leave. UCLA's declining attendance is cited as a factor by UCLA to leave the Rose Bowl. They're averaging 35,253 fans per game, and it's on pace for the all-time low at the stadium. Now, the LA Times back in September, they ran a story talking about the declining attendance. They said that the attendance figures at the Rose Bowl were inflated by at least 25% over the actual number of scanned tickets. So if that's the case, I'm not a math major, but I guess if you're reporting an average of 35,000, what is the increase of 25% of that? It'd be in the 20s, right?
Sure.
I'm looking at our two younger, younger members of our team, hoping that they would.
I caught some of those numbers. I was looking at the distance between the campus and the Rose Bowl, and it says
it's 26 miles.
26 miles, but 42 minutes travel time.
It's 13 miles to SoFi from Westwood.
Okay, so you're going to cut that in half.
Cut it in half.
That 42 minutes seems generous.
But I'm guessing that you've heard from the people who are actually watching your football games in person that, Martin Jarman, who we know, their athletics director,
sharp guy.
He didn't just pull this idea out of thin air. So this will be the second major lawsuit that I can remember that Martin Jarman and UCLA have been a part of. If you remember the breakup from Under Armour, that they have with the whole apparel deal.
I know there's a number of schools that have this around, and maybe this is, you can say I'm privileged for this, but there's just something about like being on a college campus where you go to school and walking to class every day and passing by the football stadium or something like that. Just, again, I understand not every school has that luxury, but that's just something that's kind of a big deal in my opinion. When I was in school
and it was a big game week, they would let RVs start setting up early in the week, and you're walking by tailgates going to class on a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's how it was in Alabama on the quad. People start setting up early, and it's like Friday basically doesn't exist, right? Like you're just there to have a good time. Like it's awesome.
Well, yeah, Friday.
Talking about from a class perspective.
From a class perspective, if somebody was going to class, you're like, well, golly, what happened? You couldn't find another day because nobody went.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But like you're saying, that whole atmosphere of everything, not just on game day,
just
but the days leading up to it. Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. Hate that for the UCLA kids.
We support you, Martin. Get that thing to SoFi. The only thing with SoFi, is it gonna look that much different?
I mean, you're still far away. Oh, attendance-wise, no.
Do you think you're
But
going
the
to be able to
stadium's
double
nice.
your attendance by going to SoFi in that city?
Well, maybe they think just the fact that it's one of the best venues,
Yeah.
and maybe it's just more cool.
But you know what? You probably start getting more fans if you start winning football games consistently. I don't know how many more fans.
I mean, please do not let Kirk Herbstreit hear you say that you're thinking about leaving the Rose Bowl. Oh my gosh. They believe that the Rose Bowl is the most incredible place on the face of the earth and that every college football game of merit should be played there.
Man, I'm glad that I went to the Rose Bowl. I'm also glad that I attended a game at Soldier Field. But doing it once and doing it 7 home games a year or however, I could see where that would get old. I mean, I appreciate the Rose Bowl. The stadium was old. The sunset was pretty. To say that I was there was cool, but I wouldn't want to go there as a fan every week.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look, a couple of years ago now, but I mean, SoFi's a great stadium, and I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The Chargers and Rams are both in the top 10 for attendance this year.
Yeah, but rain can blow in.
But again, I wouldn't have thought that LA would have that great of a, just because there's so much to do, so many different opportunities. But I mean, it's working in the NFL, so maybe it will work.
That's
for
why I
UCLA.
thought
Maybe
you were
it'll be
about
better.
to say that they were moving to one of those soccer stadiums.
Yeah.
Where it's a nice, cozy 42,000.
Oh, you mean the place where the Chargers played while SoFi was being built? You remember when they left San Diego and they
Yeah.
played in that soccer stadium for, I guess, a year or so?
Please don't say Chargers and San Diego in the same sentence. I know I just did, but now I will refer to them as the San Diego Chargers at least until New Year's. Thanks. Albuquerque, New Mexico State. See, I'm going to screw you up now.
Oh, I've got it down now.
I call them San Diego too. I forget all the time. They're San Diego.
Let's put a team back there.
How about the Chargers?
Yeah. Padres are making it work, at least until the postseason gets here.
Yeah, you don't need 2 teams in LA, but whatever.
All right, when we come back on Three Man Front, we'll do some Pat Ponders. Also later on, Conrad's got something that he has seen and he is disgusted by it. And it's not a text from Faye. All that straight ahead on Three Man Front. As we roll on this Thursday, this is Three Man Front on Jocks. Every day I come up with 5 questions. They give me answers. This is Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trustful. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. Question number 1. Name the SEC school that currently has a head coaching vacancy to be the first one to actually hire the replacement.
All right, remind me who we got open. LSU, Arkansas,
In
Florida.
You have 3. Which one of the 3 will be the very first to officially hire their next coach?
Just because of potential candidates, I'm going to go Arkansas. If it's going to be Bobby P., if he can get another win.
Yeah, see, I'm going Arkansas too, and I look at it like this because I think the Florida and LSU jobs, right, if they both really do love Lane Kiffin, right, they're going to kind of wait each other out and see, well, if he takes this job, then we have to pivot. If he doesn't take this job, then we're going to go full steam ahead for Lane. So I'm going Arkansas as well because I think they're maybe operating in a different lane than LSU and Florida right now, and they can go get something done.
Yeah, I would agree. And with everything going on also in Baton Rouge, it feels like it might kind of they'll probably be the last, in my opinion. But it also just kind of like what you guys said, depends on what happens with Lane. But I think Arkansas will be first.
Question number 2. When that coaching carousel stops, where will John Sumrall call home in 2026?
On the rolling plains of Dixie, neath the sun-kissed sky. I don't feel as confident about it as maybe I felt a week ago. If there was going to be a change, let me add that. But I will say Auburn.
I'll say LSU. I don't think Lane's going to leave, and I think what we talked about with the contract earlier, it's going to be a lot easier to entice a guy like John Sumrall to take that kind of deal and bet on himself than a more established, bigger name potentially. So I'm going to go LSU for John Sumrall.
I just get the feeling they're going to swing big and they're going to land another big name.
I'm also going Auburn.
Very possible.
All right, so Molly and Landrum predict that John Sumrall will be the next head coach at Auburn.
I think they're saying all the right things, Pat, about, well, that was kind of the old guard and how they thought about having a coach from their own state and naming him as the head coach of the football program. But I think that they swing at another big name that maybe we're not talking about, and that guy says yes. Give me all that money to coach however many and a half seasons and walk away with $53 million guaranteed.
Question number 3. As an LSU fan, did the governor of Louisiana's fiery comments yesterday signal the search is now set up for success, or has it already gone off the rails?
It raises red flags to me, and that doesn't mean that it will go off the rails. It's just very unconventional when a governor steps in. The last time I remember that happening would have been in the state of West Virginia with Marshall and their football program, and Doc Holliday, who got into it with the governor, and they got crossways, and that led to Charles Huff, who is now, by the way, at Hattiesburg and doing a wonderful job with USM. But yeah, if you're asking for my natural immediate reaction, it was, oh, this could get messy. A lot of folks with a lot of egos that have no experience doing this.
Yeah, money can change a lot of people's minds, and that would be my looking at this as a candidate. You're going to have to blow me away with an offer, which it sounds like they're not going to do. Because why do I want to go to a school where it seems like the leadership's in disarray? I don't know who my athletic director is going to be. What if you go to LSU and you hate the new athletic director and you're stuck there with him? Because it's very obvious that Scott Woodward's, a dead man walking. So, yeah, I think it hurts. I don't think it looks great, but LSU's such a good job and they have enough resources to where someone will still take it. But red flags all over that
Or if
thing.
you're fat and happy as a college coach, you've already kind of hit that apex of your career, and you're just looking for one more good contract.
It just feels like there's way too much going on. And if I was an LSU fan, I would be frustrated because, if you have to get the governor involved in your hiring of a college football coach when you don't trust your when you don't trust your AD, I'd be concerned.
I think that's the thing that I would guard about. And that's kind of my logic in getting the coach that is still hungry, that hasn't reached that amount of success, because Brian Kelly was there already before LSU hired him. Lincoln Riley was there when USC hired him. I want to find that guy that's not fat and happy, that's still chasing. And some of these coaches that grew up when college football was much different and they cut their teeth when it was recruiting and it was 3 years and developed players, I think a lot of those coaches are just fed up with a new game and what they're having to do. Get one more contract and fire me and tell me which door to walk out.
Question number 4. Which team outside the Southeastern Conference and Big Ten could make the most noise in the college football playoff?
Outside?
Oh man, I mean, I would probably go Miami because I think the upside there is maybe the highest and the talent that they have is the highest. But you know, we've also seen what happens if Carson Beck does Carson Beck things, and you know, you throw 4 interceptions in a game, you're not going to win. So I would probably still go them just because I think they have the highest upside out of the teams outside of the Big Ten and the SEC. Like, I think Georgia Tech's a great story. I don't think Georgia Tech can win multiple games in a college football playoff type setting. I don't think BYU can do that. Texas Tech's quarterback's hurt. Yeah, I'm going Miami.
As much as I want to say Georgia Tech, I also think it's Miami. I don't think it's anybody in the Big 12.
So you're going Georgia Tech?
Yeah, I'm going to go Georgia Tech. It's my dark horse college football team. Playoff team. They'll go out and lose to NC State this weekend. Don't do it, Brent. Yeah, I'll go Georgia Tech, but Miami's probably the higher percentage chance of happening.
But I also think they have maybe a higher percentage chance of just having an absolute bust type performance. So, give and take.
All right, final question of the day. Years ago in this segment, we asked Landrum if he would spend the night alone without his cell phone
With Conrad.
in a cemetery.
You already did that one, brother.
I didn't sleep.
So here's the question.
Just creeped out.
If you were offered $1,000 to spend the night in a cemetery without your cell phone, would you do it?
Not for $1,000.
We're at different financial stages of our life. Clearly, can I take a blanket or something out there? I mean, it's gonna be cold.
Absolutely. You just can't have your cell phone.
So I can have anything besides my cell phone.
Well, you can't have anything electronic.
Well,
you can't
no.
have a television. You can't have a radio.
No, but like I could take
can't have
like
a heater.
food and water out there
Sure.
in a sleeping bag or
Absolutely.
something.
Flashlight, a good book.
For $1,000?
$1,000 in a cemetery.
Absolutely. Wait. Do
No,
I have to
We already
sleep,
have the
like-
cemetery selected.
See, that's what I'm going to say. Is Pat's going to be like, well, actually, we dug a ditch in this grave, and you can go sleep in this grave site
He did not say human remains.
at ground level. I'm not sleeping down in a grave, but at ground level, like on grass, for
I didn't think-
$1,000?
I didn't think about that. We could up the the prize.
Yes, I would absolutely do that for $1,000.
Would you sleep in a coffin in the ground for $2,000 overnight?
Wouldn't I die?
No. We would make sure that you had oxygen.
No, I'm not. No, that'd be horrifying. But I will sleep in a sleeping bag in a cemetery for $1,000.
In a cemetery of our choice.
I mean, now it's probably going to be.
If we got a tanning bed out there, would you sleep in it in a graveyard?
That sounds dangerous. No. Feel like.
It's kind of like a coffin.
Yeah, it is kind of like a.
I'd be
coffin.
too scared.
So you're a hard no.
I'm out.
Is there a dollar figure that you would? $5,000.
More. I'd be too
I'm
scared.
like you, Molly. Well,
Yeah.
it's not the scared thing. I'm just not going to do that for $1,000.
I mean, it wouldn't be comfortable, but
What's going to happen to you?
Exactly. Nothing's going to happen. Might get some bugs that crawl on you or something at night. Whatever.
What if the groundskeeper comes and does weird things at night?
Sounds like we'd have a great time.
Like that's when he puts out his pre-emergent.
What if we got Faye to spend the night with you at the cemetery?
Conrad, you get in this sleeping bag. You get in here.
You do it free, right?
Get Mama her lighter.
$2,000.
$2,000.
This one's running low.
You give 1,000 to Faye, then you
Sorry,
take the other
Faye.
1,000.
I know you don't talk like that.
No, I'm getting the 2,000.
just realized
Faye
that-
can negotiate her own contract.
Faye is now going to be coming after me.
So for $1,000, you do it. We picked a cemetery, no cell phone.
Is it in the state of Alabama?
Yes.
Okay, see, that would be because well, we're going to do it somewhere where it's like negative 30 degrees at night. And
No,
I
no,
freeze to
no,
death.
no.
Yeah, in the state of Alabama, sure. $1,000.
Skin so dry.
$1,000.
You rub some lotion on Miss Faye's leg.
Yeah.
So Landrum and Molly too scared. They wouldn't do it.
I didn't say scared. I'm not wasting my time to do that for $1,000.
It's a comfort thing. Yeah, I get it.
So how many other people are you paying you $1,000 to do anything at night?
That's none of your business. Call me now. If you're in a retirement center,
See, I thought Pat when he started, I'm
nursing
thinking,
home circuit,
I was thinking we were gonna get like $100. Would you do it for $100? I wouldn't
No,
do
it was
that.
$1,000, and Landrum just straight up was like, no way.
I
No
wouldn't
way.
do
No
that.
way.
I wouldn't
do
do
it.
that for
No.
$100. I would do that for $1,000.
you'd probably 1099 me.
If it's above $600, you're getting $1,099.
Well, then I will take 2 installments of $500.
From different people.
That's right. At different times.
We'll pay Paige $500, then
Perfect.
pay you $500.
That sounds great.
That's how it works.
That sounds great.
Well, maybe we can hook something up for tomorrow night for you.
Oh, for tomorrow night?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, tomorrow's Halloween. Well, after my Halloween party, yeah, I'll go and
We'll have
sleep
to
in a
we'll have to
cemetery.
find a cemetery though that doesn't have gates. Or we get him in there and he can hide out in one of the mausoleums for sunset. We'll have a plan.
Okay, sounds good.
When can you do this?
Apparently, I'm doing it tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night after your Halloween party
My party. Yeah, that's right.
that none of us were invited to.
It's not my party. It's a party that I was invited to. So
I like to think that I was invited, but you didn't invite me because you knew I was going to be out of town.
you know me so well.
That's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Get by and see them off of I-459 exit 32. That is Courtesy GMC.
Conrad sees good, he sees bad. Apparently, he's seen something bad. You don't want to miss. The worst thing I've seen is next. 148 three-man front on this Thursday. We got ball tonight. Marshall and Coastal Carolina at 6:30 on ESPN2. Tulane as a 5.5-point favorite going to the Alamo Dome to take on UTSA. 6:30 the kick on that one. He sees good, he sees bad. Conrad apparently has seen something bad. This is the worst thing that I've seen.
This is the worst thing I've seen.
Been in quarantine and I need to get out and party. Woo! What's better than beach and a few drinks and Jeeps? Man, getting better than that. Law enforcement's definitely made their visitability and made people chill out and not be as crazy. The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
All right, I feel like it's important to set expectations on this segment sometimes because we like to have fun with it, but sometimes we do actually talk about things that are really bad, and this one is unfortunately one of those.
So this is not a laugher?
No, this is certainly not a laugher. So this is a story that's actually gone kind of viral. I saw it yesterday, and we unfortunately ran out of time, but I've seen it popping up on social media in a couple places now in the last 24 hours or so. So unfortunately, we're going to the state of Oklahoma for this one. And so in the state of Oklahoma, a woman, 30 years old, by the name of Holly Hill, unfortunately passed away last Thursday, it's reported. But the cause of her death was quite strange. So Miss Hill was a third grade teacher and a mother of three who passed away last week, 2 years after she was served a cocktail containing industrial cleaner on a date night with her husband. So apparently, according to medical reports now after her death, she was served this cocktail 2 years ago with industrial cleaner that ultimately left a hole in her esophagus that after 2 years led to her early passing, unfortunately. So this is going back 2 years now, where she told family members after going on the date and drinking this beverage that her mouth was, quote, on fire, and she immediately started throwing up after taking a sip of the cocktail at a Mexican restaurant in Elgin, Oklahoma.
Mi casita.
It was not Mi Casita, from what I understand. But according to her mother, she said that immediately my daughter knew something wasn't right. She jumped up, ran to the bathroom, started rinsing out her mouth with water, knowing that there was some ingredient in the drink that wasn't right.
Hey, just real quick, it's just crazy. You're reading the story, and then local news is actually showing the story as you're reading it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. As I said,
I would say they're listening, but they're not.
It's gotten a little bit of traction here over the last couple of days. So it was actually Hacienda Las Margaritas Bar and Grill in Oklahoma. That's the name of the actual site. But she reached a confidential settlement with the restaurant after she sued them for ongoing health complications that arose in the 2 years following her being served. So according to a local news station up in Oklahoma, days before her death, Miss Hill had actually undergone a procedure where doctors then found that the hole in her esophagus wasn't healing up, but it had gotten a bit better in 2 years, and they were able to think that it might actually get better. But unfortunately, she was on feeding tubes for the 2 years, and the injuries eventually piled up and led to her passing away last Thursday. So again, just a very sad situation there in Oklahoma on a date night. And to make matters worse, it was a Valentine's Day date that she was on with her husband in 2023. And unfortunately, that industrial cleaner in the margarita 2 years later would kill her.
Breaks my heart. 3 kids.
Yes.
30 years old, third grade teacher. Not just her biological children, but all those children in that classroom.
Yeah, it's awful stuff there. So again, just, you can't predict certain things like that, but just, always be aware and make sure you're, making sure you're careful with whatever it is you are putting in your body. So yeah, very sad situation there, as a husband and 3 kids now are going to be without their mother because of what you have to imagine was a simple incident making a drink that, turned deadly. So that is truly the worst thing that I've seen.
Wow. Tomorrow on the program, we will get you one day closer to kickoff of the Southeastern Conference schedule of the weekend, which includes the Auburn Tigers hosting the Kentucky Wildcats. Conrad, while you got your computer pulled up, we have now had an opportunity to go over the three-man front Twitter poll question of the day. and it has to do with, I guess, who is predicting the big upsets this weekend.
That is correct. We like to do this each week in college football season. And today's question, pretty simple. What is the most likely upset in the SEC this Saturday? You got 4 options. The Gators upset Georgia. Commodores, Vanderbilt takes down Texas. The Gamecocks beat Ole Miss. Or the Wildcats come into Auburn and stun the Tigers. And winning right now with 62% of the vote. Y'all think Vanderbilt upsetting Texas is the most likely. Second place, Kentucky upsetting Auburn with 18.8% of the vote. And then pretty close neck and neck in third and fourth place, Florida upsetting Georgia and South Carolina upsetting Ole Miss. So Vanderbilt running away with that one.
It seems like nationally speaking, everyone has pinpointed the Vanderbilt game as Texas is going to be upset, straight up.
Vanderbilt's been a better team than them this year. Now, I will say, I think Texas has kind of evened out a little bit, where I think Texas is a solid football team. They're just not as great as we thought they were. Vanderbilt's really good, though. And Diego Pavia is on a mission. He knows what this win means.
I just remember last year's game and watching that in the closing minutes and thinking Vanderbilt could win this football game. It's a better team. I don't think as much of Texas as I did last year. I think Vanderbilt goes in. They got plenty of confidence. They win 4 quarters.
So if Vanderbilt wins, next week can we have someone come in and start sizing your earlobes?
Sure.
I know you wanted the gauges, the big ones.
No, we're not doing gauges. We're doing diamond studs just like Diego Pavia wore at SEC Media Days. Coach Bill Clark has offered to buy real diamond studs for me.
Has he really?
To pull this off. He said, I don't want cubic zirconia on those earlobes. I said, yes, sir. I'm coachable.
Wow.
That's going to do it for us. For all of our guests, to all of you, you make it happen every single day. Just remember, if you're feeling good, you're on the mountaintop or you're in the valley. God is great. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday.